I'm pretty confident in my building skills, so I challenged myself to build something in just 1 hour, and I was pretty surprised with the result. So here's how it went. I started off by looking at some ideas on Pinterest. It took me a while to find something, but I eventually landed on this old church. Alright, so I'm gonna start the timer now. Okay, it's going. So I first want to start with getting a color palette. Stone, cobblestone. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start with doing a square section right here, and then just kind of finish doing the outline. Then I started working on the walls to give them some gradients and texture, and I didn't even realize this at the time, but somehow I decided to use the exact same blocks as the reference picture. Then I started putting stairs on the roof and just kept building them up from there. And I started focusing on the front by adding some stairs under the roof to make it look a lot better. And now it just gives it more detail than it had before. I finally started to finish the roof, and then I began adding some details like some stairs and slabs. I don't really know what I was doing, so I was just kind of trying to wing it. And then I started lifting up the tower section of the church and adding some details around it. Then I added some pillars that would hold up the roof of the tower, and I added some extra details that went all around. After that, I started working on the roof for the pointy tower area, and I worked on this part for a pretty long time. I wanted to make sure that it looked good enough, and it was pretty hard to get the details right. I realized that most churches have a bell inside, so I decided to do it for this. A normal bell wouldn't really work very well since it's a too wide area, which bugs my OCD like crazy. So I just decided to use a gold block instead. And it definitely did the job. Like, it's not horrible. It looks pretty good. After the bell, I started adding some small decorations, like a little fence on top of the tower to give it a more pointy look. And then after that, I added some trapdoors on the side of the tower, and then some leaves around the whole church to give it more decoration. Alright, we finished the outside, so now we can start doing some interior. And I suck at doing interior, so this is gonna be interesting. I feel like that a church would have some fancy floor, so we're gonna put this all in here. Okay, now let's add some of these benches. I guess just like that. We could add like a couple for each roll. Let's make these a little bit shorter so that there's like a middle walkway section. And then right here we can put like a lectern. Maybe we should have like a little platform area right here. That's not too bad. Maybe we could put some lighting here. Cover that up a little bit. That doesn't look horrible. I was already pretty close to finishing the church, and I had around 30 minutes left. I spent that time trying to add small details that would make the build look better. I started texturing the floor with some stone, because the original floor looked kind of bland. Then I added some more decorations on the outside of the church, like some trees on every corner. I don't really know why I picked netherite hoe, but anyways, I started making some farms around the church to give it more detail. I started to get cocky with how much time I had left, and decided to go beyond the boundary by adding a pathway leading towards the church, as well as these light posts across the path. And I gotta say, it definitely was the right choice. It gave the church so much more detail. Alright, so we ended with about 9 minutes left, which is actually pretty good. So I guess now we can just start doing the tour, because I can't think of anything else to add to this. So we have this like little pathway here with these lights, and then we have some trees and some decorations for the outside. We have a wheat farm, and then over here we have another wheat farm. Just some decorations to kind of fill the time, I guess. Then if we go in here, then we have some pews or benches for the church. There's some lights in the corners. And then we have this lectern right here. And if you go up here, there's supposed to be like a bell looking thing. I was just lazy and I just did a gold block because I couldn't think of anything else. And yeah, this is the final result. Say I did pretty good for an hour. And we finished before the time even ended, which is crazy. What do you guys think? How did I do?